Star Wars Unlimited enthusiasts, welcome to round 1 of April 2nd Star Wars Unlimited night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. And welcome to our first locals video for a Lawless time. Rotation has happened. Sets 4, 5, 6, and 7 are the only sets legal in rotation for their premiere format. I don't know if Valkyrie Vault's going to do anything with the Eternal format, but again, if that happens, we will definitely look over those. But as for right now, most people just want to play in Premiere, especially until Eternal gets a ban list and deals with a lot of the problems that Eternal is going to have with Jango Fett being rampant. But anyways, our two decks today are Lando JTL Splash Yellow, also known as Oops All Rares, against Vel Splash Red. So the deck known as Oops All Rares was just a deck that another person at my locals built for this player, and just to have some fun. That's what a lot of people like to do here. They just like to have some fun. So anyways, the Lando Calrissian leader states on his front side action, pay 1, tap him, play a unit from your hand. If you do, and you control a ground unit and a space unit, give a unit a shield token. He flips for 7. He is a JTL style leader, so meaning that he can flip on the ground or onto a starship, or a vehicle, I guess you should say. If he flips on the ground, he's a 5/7 with Sentinel, and if he attaches to a vehicle unit, again, the vehicle becomes a leader, and then he also gives it Sentinel, and then when deployed as an upgrade, you may give a shield token to a unit in a different arena. So basically, if you attach him as a upgrade to a vehicle, you basically can, if it's a vehicle in the ground, you give it to a space unit, but if you attach to a space unit, you give it to a ground unit. But anyways, then on the other side, we have the Yellow Splash base, which means that we are playing cards in here that are outside of blue and cunning. As a reminder, Splash Base states on it that you can ignore epic action, play a unit from your hand, ignoring one of its aspect penalties of blue, green, yellow, and red. So basically, you can play units in your deck that synergize with other color units, i.e. these Spectres from Lawless time. They like to synergize with the colors, so you can use a one-time epic action to play a unit out and then trigger an ability like that, as long as that's outside of the blue-yellow play style. You cannot ignore the aspect penalties on heroic or villainy tags. On the other side, we have Vel Red. Vel basically is the menace to sealed. If you get a Vel leader, you pretty well probably winning the sealed event based on what your pulls are, whether you're drafting or whether you are playing seal, getting 6 packs. But nonetheless, Vel states on her front side action, give a unit an experience token, and if you do, give your opponent a credit token, and then she flips for 6 on a 4/7 by the exact same thing. Action on attack, give an experience token to a unit, including yourself on her backside, and then give your opponent a credit token. So the downside of Vel is that you give opponent credit tokens, but there are ways to mitigate that. Being in the Splash Red, you have our Vel to destroy credit tokens. Being here, you also have the 𝐒𝐓𝐃 security unit where he can turn off your opponent's credits token. So you have those abilities to not turn off credits altogether with Vel. And in certain matchups, utilizing Vel's ability to give experience is just more better than just the advantage of giving credits. In my case, I was running Qui-Gon Force Green for today's event. I really enjoy Qui-Gon, and I decided I wanted to try him out, especially now with all the new stuff we got in yellow, the new Qui-Gon unit, as well as the Liberty itself. So I actually played this as my last round opponent, and the problem for Vel is it really doesn't want to give me credit tokens. The aspect here is that because of the fact that Qui-Gon can then burn those credit tokens to play a high-cost guy, then trigger his ability to bounce that guy back to my hand, meaning that I just now put a big body back to my hand to play another smaller body, allowing me to recur multiple bodies out for basically for free. So it wasn't a great matchup going into Vel with Qui-Gon, but we'll have to see how this matchup goes with Oops All Rares versus Vel Splash Yellow. Sorry, that was Vel Splash Red. Here we go for game number 1. Let's see, the Vel player is just finishing up their resourcing here, just figuring out what they want to resource here. It looks like we're going to start off with a Yaddle, and then we're going to go for a Karis Nimic, and then we're going to have Karis get a experience token here, and then we're going to give a credit token to the Lando side of the board there. Again, as a reminder, that's what Vel's ability states. You may tap her, just give a unit an experience token, and then that unit gets a then that unit is capable, then you give your opponent a credit token. Again, like I said, it's not great when you really think about it, but in the aspect here is that it's not too bad of an option just to really play down, because of it's still very strong, even though you give your opponent a credit token. So in this case, a Lando player can actually burn to play a 4-drop this turn instead of a 3-drop. It's still very good because you do get to pump up your unit. So anyways, we're going to go for 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄, grabbing the 𝐒𝐻𝐿. When I originally played that, I thought it grabbed one of your opponent's units. No, so it captures one of your own units. It was really good for when DJ first dropped into the format from LOF. So anyways, then we're going to equip a mastery under that, I believe so, or no, I don't think that's a mastery. I think that is Cassian under there. So anyways, we're then going to utilize, we're going to go for Red Squadron X-Wing to burn it, give it 2 damage, draw a card. Then we're going to go for another ability of good old Vel to give another experience token to Karis. Our Lando player should actually have 2 credit tokens right now because of the Vel effect. And as by the way, our player with, of course, the Vel deck also is using proxies. But again, like I said, we're very friendly people here. We're going to go for this escape pod killing into the X-Wing. I don't know what, or no, I think that's L337 is the upgrade under the escape pod there. Apologies. I think that's L337 under there, which I think gives a +3/+3. So anyways, we're going to drop the Anakin using the effect of the Cassian to then give it a shield token. Then we're going to go for black 1. Then we're going to go for Vel again. And then we're going to trigger the ability here. And then we're going to be able to pump another one. Again, I think we're missing 1 credit token on the Lando side of the board. They should actually have 3 credit tokens here because, again, there are now 3 experience tokens that Vel has given out there. So that's a miss on both players not realizing that, unless, of course, I missed the fact that the Lando player actually burnt a credit token. I'm not completely sure here. But again, sometimes I do like to put, this is actually round number 1, as I said, but yeah, again, this was really the only round I really wanted to put this on, so I'm glad we're seeing some kind of funny decks. I always like it when people can bring in some like dumb stuff that's really cool to just see if it can actually even work. Sometimes it really doesn't, as we still have the escape pod grabbing the 𝐒𝐻𝐿 for some weird reason. Anyways, we're going to have to figure out what we want to do here. The black one is a 3/4 right now, and that Karis right now is a 5/4, which is a really crazy if you really think about it, because of Karis really only being a 3/2. But again, Karis does have that ability where if it dies, you can reveal a red white in your hand, and you're able to then create an active spy token, which is still very nice. So anyways, we're going to go and kill off the black one here, and then we're going to be able to then bring out the 𝐒𝐻𝐿. They were trying to bring out, it was L337 out on the board, but L337 when dying on the ground then gets equip itself onto something. I don't think the Lando player is winning this anytime soon here. We're just going to punch 2 damage into the Karis there, and then we're going to be able to then deal 3 damage from black 1 here. Again, it's not upgrade, so it doesn't get the extra +1 there, because again, it gets an extra +1 if it's upgraded with a pilot. No, it's just, I think it has to just be upgraded, period. So I think actually it does get an additional. And then we're going to go for the shuttle there. And then that's going to be able to, that's going to be played off the Lando. So Lando's going to give that a shield token to it. So it's really cool to actually see the Lando effect going out. The problem for Lando is that he's a 7. Why the heck is Lando a 7 cost flip upgrade? So we're going to go for, of course, Vel to give it something, an experience token. So we're going to have to figure out what we want to give. So we're going to give that to the Red Squadron. Then we're just going to pass here. I think the Vel should be able to actually flip. Or no, I think we're hitting our 6 resource turn now. Okay, so now we're hitting, that was his turn. That was just a 5 resource turn. Okay. Anyways, we're going to go for 𝐒𝐲𝐾 because we can burn all the resources here, and then that kills off all 3 of them because of the 𝐒𝐲𝐾, and then we're going to give a bunch of experience tokens here. We do have the ability to, of course, give a unit. We can show for Karis as well, Karis to reveal. Again, that is the one problem for the aspect of what we want to do here. So we're going to give 3 experience tokens to the Anakin, then we're going to reveal here, then we're going to get a spy token. Unfortunately, the player doesn't have a spy token right now, so they're asking around who can actually give them a spy token. So we're just going to flip the Karis and then make for a spy token, and then we're just going to put 2 there. It's a 0/2, by the way. That's all it really is. I don't know if Vel ever wants to punch it, by the way. Then that comes inactive. Then we're going to swing 2 damage onto the base here. The Vel can pretty much come out here and potentially kill it off. Kill it here. We're at 20 now. Then we're going to go for 𝐒𝐻𝐿 killing off the token. Then we're going to heal 1 off from the base, putting us down to 19. We're going to do flip the Vel here, and then we're going to plot out a sudden ferocity, which is pretty nice there, meaning that Vel is going to be able to swing for 8 damage on her back. on her backside. So anyways, we're going to go swing 4-5 damage from the Luke. Okay, so Anakin's going to swing 5 damage into the Vel here. And then we're going to go for aggressive negotiations. I think that's the game right then and there. Yep. Well, folks, I mean, we're seeing it right now. I've already done videos with red decks showing off aggressive negotiations, folks. Aggressive negotiations, expect this to be the first true card banned in the Premier format. Aggro right now is just the way of the game in the meta. It's just truly the way of the game. Funny enough, I only won my game, my third round, is because my opponent was unable to do their math right when they swung a hammerhead at me and was able to use the hammerhead and leave me on 1 health point on a 20 health base. So I was only ever able to just survive by 1 health point for the math, or maybe 2 health points. I can't fully remember, but it doesn't really matter. Nonetheless, I survived. But yes, I think this card is going to get banned 100%. It's just the bane of this meta right now. But anyways, Vel Splash Red won round number 1. No surprise, but what do you expect from an oops all rares deck? So let's move into game number 2. Game number 2, here we go, folks. We're going to start off with a Bodhi Rock on attack. You can give another Rebel unit Sentinel, including itself. We're going to go for the black one coming out here. And again, we are able to, of course, consider to give it a additional experience token. So it looks like the players are just joking. Again, we're pretty good friends out here, so we all know each other. So anyway, we're going to give a credit token for the Vel, giving the black one the experience token. And by the way, I don't know what exactly the proxy cards are, but yes, he does have proxy cards as well. So anyways, we're going to go for the Lando to then pay 1, 2, then using the credit token to pay 1, and then go for the Sabine's Masterpiece coming down with a shield token down to it, which is pretty nice there. And then we're going to go for Vel to give an experience token to the black one. Then we're going to go for 2, and then we can give Sentinel to something. You could have given it to... my opinion, you should have given it to Sabine's Masterpiece off the Bodhi Rock attack. Then the black one would have to do 5 because it is getting the extra upgrade. I thought it had to be upgraded, which again, experience tokens are upgrades. So that would have actually been pretty nice because you could have actually gone after the Sabine's Masterpiece, hit it, knocked off the shield, and dealt 3 damage to black one there, leaving it on, of course, 2 health points left, which I guess that's not exactly the worst thing in the world here overall, but we'll have to figure out what we want to do here. We do have the ability to heal 2 damage from our base as well. So anyways, we're going to deal 3 damage to black one there, and then be able to then heal 2 damage off the base because we own a blue unit. Then we're going to swing in for another 5 here, and then we're going to figure out what we really want to do on the oops all rares. It looks like we're going to go for a commandeer, and then we're just going to steal the Red Squadron X-Wing, being able to burn the credit token for the extra cost there of 6 there, stealing the Red Squadron X-Wing, allowing us to do some pretty cool stuff there. And we're going to go for Kane and Jarrus burning the splash base to allow us to bounce back, because we do have a red unit, so we can bounce back something that's 4 cost or less. So then we're going to swing with the Bodhi Rock into the Kane and Jarrus, and we're going to trigger Vel to give an experience token and give 1 credit to my opponent. Well, there's some nice things. I mean, the Cassian's pretty nice there. The Rex is pretty good as well. It's a nice card to work off here, especially with credit tokens. We're going to figure out, it looks like they're going to resource the Cassian there. I mean, I guess that's a questionable. I would like to have placed the Cassian under that Sabine's Masterpiece to pump it up a little bit more. I mean, I guess you could, in this case, throw the Sabine's Masterpiece, add to the black one here, and then knock it out, which I guess at that point would mean that you have no point in really keeping the Cassian in hands if you're not going to have a unit. So anyways, we're going to swing 4 damage at the base with the good old Kane and Jarrus, and then healing 1 damage with his ability here. We're going to figure out what we want to do next. It looks like we're going to then pay for a Captain Rex, and we're going to bring that one out. I thought Captain Rex was 7. Okay, so 6. Again, you give 2 things, Sentinel for the phase himself, and 1 other thing on attack and when played, and then again it has to go after that. Not that it really matters with the Bodhi Rock there, being able to gain Sentinel as well. Well, to a Rebel, but unfortunately Rex ain't no Rebel. So we're going to figure out exactly what we want to do here. We're going to go for then another Karis down the board. Those are, of course, the Black Series Karises that you get from, I think, going to big events like regional qualifiers and sector qualifiers. So those are very nice cards to pick up. They're very, very nice indeed. Anyways, then we're going to have the Karis Mimic down there as well. The arts are very beautiful on those cards, 100%. So anyways, then we're going to resource here, and we're going to swing with starting off with the Captain Rex going at the base, and then we're going to give 2 things, Sentinel for the turn. Remember, as a reminder, so we're going to give Sentinel the Red Squadron X-Wing, and then Sentinel probably the Captain Rex there, so that someone has to go after the 7 here because of his effect. So it's very interesting to see what we want to do. So we're going to go swing 4 damage at the base from the Red Squadron X-Wing here. I mean, I'm surprised that actually, funny enough, that the Lando players even actually surviving as long as they are. Give credit. So anyways, we're going to swing 2. We're going to kill off the 𝐂𝐓𝐃𝐘 there. We're going to reveal another 𝐂𝐓𝐃𝐾, then we're going to create a spy token there, giving us the 0/2. As a reminder, it does come in completely ready per 𝐂𝐓𝐃𝐾's effect, and then we do have the ability to go for Vel, and then we're going to go flip up out the Vel. It looks like we are going to plot out potentially a so they have a Galen Urso they can plot out, or they go for. So we are going to go for the Galen, and we're going to just name a card here. I believe we're going to be naming Captain Rex, which means that the Galen Urso turns off Captain Rex's abilities, meaning that Captain Rex no longer has Sentinel because he no longer recognizes his ability. So that should just be a great way to go right through the Captain Rex here. So, I mean, I'm not exactly sure how exactly the Lando player survives this now. They do have an Eye of Aldani. That is a really good card there, paying 1 to be able to use the Eye of Aldani. Your opponent has to play 1 resource for each of their guys here, or they can't attack. I believe that remember what the Eye does. So it looks like we're going to go for Sabine's Masterpiece here. We're going to pay for 3, and we're going to give Captain Rex a shield here, even though Captain Rex technically is turned off because of the Galen. And then we're going to swing, and we're going to hit the base for 5 because of the fact is we're going to also pump our opponent up for 1 more credit token because Vel is going to give herself an experience token. I'm going to figure out what else we really want to do because there isn't much else we can do. On the look of it, I think there's an escape pod, an Eye of Aldani, and whatever that last card is. Again, it does kind of suck that credit tokens don't allow you to, like, speed out your opponents. We're going to go for an Eye of Aldani. So again, your opponent has to pay 1 to allow them to attack with any units here. So we're going to swing for that one. So I thought that's what the Eye of Aldani does. Maybe I'm misreading the Eye of Aldani. So I believe so. Hold on 1 minute. Alright, so the Eye of Aldani is the start of the next activation phase. For each enemy unit, its controller must pay 1 or exhaust that unit. Okay, so it's the next activation phase. Apologies. So technically, they don't actually run the Eye of Aldani just yet. So that does mean that they do have to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resources to attack. So that does mean that we do have 6, and we also totally forgot to trigger for the we forgot to take the top card of our resource, and we're forgetting the Eye of Aldani effect, I think, here. Because the next activation phase, they have to pay 1 or exhaust their units. So I think they're pointing out that they now have to go through the Eye of Aldani effect here. Or they're just going to play a unit. So anyways, it looks like we're just talking about Captain Rex's effect here of Captain Rex swinging in. There's a Zeb coming in. I'm pretty sure we are completely forgetting about the Eye of Aldani here, 100%. So anyways, we're going to go and play L337 on the board. Again, when L337 dies on the ground, she can equip herself to a vehicle unit. So we're going to put a shield over Captain Rex there, just protecting Captain Rex, because again, he still has Sentinel for the phase here. But yeah, I think they completely forgot about the Eye of Aldani. The Eye of Aldani should have actually triggered there because it's the next activation your opponent has to pay. So anyways, we're going to have the spy go into the Captain Rex here. We're going to then flip a Lando there, and then because he's attached to an upgrade, then he can equip a shield onto the Captain Rex there, allowing Captain Rex to once again be able to you know, have some nice protection there. So anyways, we're going to swing 3 damage. I still don't even think if it even mattered. Anyways, even if the Eye of Aldani was even triggering, I'm pretty sure the Vel player would have won, but we did just cheat ourselves out of the fact of the matter that the Eye of Aldani worked. So anyways, we're going to go for a Cassian Andor onto the ground here. Then we're going to go for Outer Rim Constable. We're going to knock out the shield off the Captain Rex there instead of going for the Lando Calrissian, which doesn't really matter. We're going to go for escape podding the Captain Rex just for all the fun of it all. And then pretty much this game is all over. Let's see what the last guy that's going to swing it for the win here. We're just going to go for the Kanan Jarrus. I guess the Kanan Jarrus is going to go after the L337 just, I guess, for the fun of it. It's a little weird, but anyways, it doesn't really matter in the end. Anyone else can just truly win. So anyways, we're going to go for heal 2 from, of course, the Sabine's Master, because the blue unit is out right now on the board state. And then it looks like we're going to go for a swing over the Cassian there. I guess they just wanted to play out the game a little longer rather than just simply finish it off there. Not exactly completely sure why, but okay. I mean, I don't mind at all if they wanna finish it out the game, whatever they want. I believe we have a Zeb, a Karis Nimic. I don't know what's in the heavy glare, and we have a Vel out as well. So I mean, there's not really much else the Lando player can really do here. anything like that. So I think they are just joking about some things. I bet they did forget. So anyways, we're going to go for a Galen Urso, and then we're going to go for a Galen Urso. We just can name whatever we want, Jam Communications, and then basically we're just kind of scooping that one up. And then, hey, look at that. We have so that's the 𝐒𝐓𝐿s there, or in the, thank you. The 𝐒𝐓𝐿s are the one that are in the proxy, but nonetheless, the Vel Splash Red took away the win. But I mean, what should we be surprised when it's playing Oops All Rares, Lando, JTL, Splash Yellow? Not really. But nonetheless, there was some questionable gameplay in here. I mean, we did forget an 𝐒𝐓𝐿 Donnie trigger and all of that. But nonetheless, I mean, it's all in good fun, folks. It's all in good fun. But nonetheless, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the two decks. What decks are you most hyped for to play right now in the Lawless time meta? Or if you guys are really kind of frustrated with the Lawless time meta, especially with red running rampant everywhere and every deck feels like it's aggro turbo or it's nothing. If you don't understand how to play against aggro turbo, you're pretty much not going to win anything. But let me know all your thoughts down in the comments, as well as if you're going to try what leaders you're going to try out in the Lawless time meta, if you're going to try out either of these leaders in the Lawless time meta or have tried them out. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you can notify when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mom Dragons TCG.